Imagine this. You're enjoying your retirement in sunny Florida. You're a successful author, a grandparent, and you happen to have a briefcase full of gold bars in your closet that your kids used to play with like Legos. Sounds like a quirky family anecdote, right? Well, for one American couple, that quirky anecdote turned into a literal international nightmare involving the French government, a frantic arrest in the UK, and accusations of trafficking and national treasure. And the kicker? It was an episode of Antiques Roadshow that ultimately led the police right to their doorstep. Here is the absolutely wild, slightly terrifying, and deeply emotional story of Philip and Gay Corder, the Florida grandparents who went from holding a favor for a friend to fighting for their freedom. The cool favor. It all started back in the 80s and 90s. Philip and Gay Corder, a creative and successful couple, Gay is a best-selling novelist, became close friends with a charismatic, eccentric Frenchman named Gerard Petsy. Gerard was the kind of guy who lived life large. One day he flew to Florida and popped open a briefcase in the Corder's living room. Inside, 20 solid gold ingots. Philip Corder later told The New Yorker, "He walks in and pops open this briefcase full of gold, and we're like, oh my god." The Corders didn't think they were part of a heist movie. They just thought their friend was eccentric. Gerard asked them to hold onto the gold and maybe help him find an American buyer. The Corders agreed. They even let their children play with the heavy bars. They were playing with them like Legos. "Honestly, we thought it was cool." Philip Corder. For 15 years the gold sat there. It was just a thing in their house. A conversation starter. A favor for a friend. The fatal eBay mistake. Eventually the Corders decided it was time to sell. They weren't trying to be sneaky about it. In fact, they did everything right by American standards. They consulted customs. They declared the bars to the IRS. They stored them in a legitimate safety deposit box. When they listed the bars on eBay, yes, eBay, they wanted to prove the gold was authentic. They needed provenance, history that proved the items were real. So they included a link in their eBay listing, a link to an old episode of BBC's Antiques Roadshow. In that episode, Gerard's wife, Annette Petsy, had appeared on TV showcasing the very same gold bars. The Corders thought this link was their golden ticket to a sale. It was actually their warrant. The national treasure trap. Here is where the story goes from quirky to terrifying. A French archaeologist named Michael Lahore stumbled across the online listing. He wasn't looking to buy, he was looking for loot. It turns out those gold bars weren't just random bullion. They were allegedly scavenged from the shipwreck of the Prince de Conti, a French vessel that sank off the coast of Brittany in 1746. In France, anything pulled from a historic shipwreck is considered a national treasure. Taking it is theft. Selling it is trafficking. The archaeologist saw the eBay listing, clicked the Antiques Roadshow link, identified the bars, and alerted the authorities. The arrest that shocked the family. The Corders had no idea any of this was happening. They were traveling in England, visiting friends, living their lives. Suddenly, they were arrested. Because of the French warrant, British authorities detained the elderly couple. To make matters worse, because they didn't have immediate access to UK currency for bail, they were thrown into jail. Imagine being in your 70s and 80s, thinking you are law-abiding citizens, and suddenly you are sitting in a foreign prison cell accused of being an international art smuggler. Their lawyer, Gregory Levy, summed up the absurdity of the situation perfectly. "We will try to demonstrate that there was no criminal intention. They sold on eBay. When you want to traffic something, you don't go on eBay, right? Hollow shells." The emotional toll on the Corders has been devastating. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a trauma. After being released on bail, they were stranded in the UK for a time, unable to leave, watching their retirement savings drain away into legal fees. Their daughter told the press that her parents became hollow shells of the people I knew. To add a layer of tragic irony, this wasn't the couple's first brush with a global nightmare. Gay Corder had previously written a book about being trapped on the Diamond Princess cruise ship during the initial COVID-19 outbreak. They had survived a plague ship only to be shipwrecked by a legal system they didn't understand. The takeaway. The Corders are currently awaiting trial, hoping to prove that they had zero criminal intent. They argue they were just helping a friend and had no idea that French maritime law claimed ownership of the gold. It's a terrifying reminder for all of us who love antiques, heirlooms, and cool stories. The world of art and artifacts is complicated. What looks like a fun eBay sale to us might look like trafficking a national treasure to a government across the ocean. The lesson? If a friend hands you a briefcase of gold bars, maybe just say no.